Well, good morning. It is the 4th of July, and it's a special day for a lot of people. You know, we celebrate our freedom, we celebrate our Independence Day today as Americans. But, for some of us, this can be a really hard day. I know for me, it was a very hard day for a very long time. I had a couple significant things on the 4th of July. Number one, it's the day that I came back from Iraq, and so a lot of people don't know that. But I touched down in San Diego actually on the 4th of July, and they tried to restrict us to base. But of course, I didn't listen. I went out in town, and it's kind of a surreal feeling to be back on the streets, especially on Independence Day. It's kind of unique. But what I really want to talk about is July 4th of 2009. I was really struggling with mental health, and it's the day that I almost committed suicide. So I remember it was a warm July day, 4th of July, and I had been dealing with anxiety and wasn't sleeping well. It was nightmares, and my brain just wasn't functioning right. And I remember I was driving around in my truck, and it's the middle of the day, and found this large parking lot. And so I drove into this parking lot, and it was quiet, and I backed my truck up against the side of the building there, and I figured that's where I was going to end my life. I had my pistol on the seat, and I just sat there. I could feel the heat coming through the windshield, and it felt good, actually, the heat, the warmth. And I had my window down, so there was a cool breeze, and I could hear some kids playing nearby. And I couldn't tell exactly where they were, but I could hear them playing and laughing. And so I thought, well, I'm going to wait until these kids leave the area, till they finish playing whatever they're doing, because I don't want them to have to walk up on me, after I ended my life. So I sat there and I waited and I waited and I waited. And the next thing I knew, I woke up. I had fallen asleep. I was so exhausted, so tired. I'd fallen asleep. When I woke up, the suicidal ideations were gone. And so I drove off and continued my day. The anxiety still came back. The sound of the fireworks were bothering me a bit. I still felt really out of sorts, especially with, the way I'd been feeling earlier. And I drove to my girlfriend's house and spent some time with her, who's now my wife, Holly. And it was a really tough time for me. And so I know that today can be a really tough time for a lot of you guys as well. A lot of you guys are dealing with some anxiety and financial burdens and family issues and post-traumatic stress and depression and all these different things that burden us. And I just want to tell you guys, you're not alone, and it does get better. It does get better. It was 2009, so it's like 11 years ago, right? In the last 11 years, God has done some amazing things. You see, that parking lot that I pulled into was a church, and I didn't know it at the time. It was New Life Church in Renton. And a few weeks later, I got invited to go to church there, and so I went. Kind of a creepy feeling to drive back into that same parking lot where I'd almost ended my life just a few days before. And I heard Pastor Troy speak, and he was speaking on the series about being lost. And I thought, man, that's me. I feel 100% lost. So I gave my life to the Lord, and I thought everything was just going to get better, but it didn't right away. It took a lot of hard work, man. And I still struggle from time to time. Just the last few days, I was dealing with some anxiety and some nightmares. But it does get better. It definitely has gotten a lot better for me. I know that 67% of men in America admit to dealing with mental health crisis at some point in their life. 67%. That's 2 out of 3 men openly admit it. It's about 109 million men every year that are struggling with mental health. And if you add women into that, you're looking at about 220 million people. Now, there's about 14 million of us who seriously consider suicide, just like I did. 14 million. And there's about 1.4 million who have an attempt and about 50,000 completion. So that's a lot of people struggling with mental health and ending their life early. And if that's you today, if you're struggling with mental health and you're thinking about taking your life, man, I just tell you, just wait. Don't do it. Better days are ahead. You know, if I had taken my life all those years ago, I would have never raised two beautiful kids who have become missionaries. I would have never traveled around the world building churches and schools and orphanages, bringing hope to the hopeless. I would have never seen the pyramids of Angkor Wat or the ones down in South America. You know, I would have never become a published author or led veterans around the world so they can find that there's healing through serving God as well. I would have never created this life-saving technology that's in medical trials right now. So if that's you today and you're struggling with mental health and you're thinking about suicide, I would just tell you to wait, that things are going to get better, that the true loss to our world when people take their life is the human capital. It's the ingenuity. It's the loss of the mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters to the family unit. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, that there is hope, that things will get better, that if you're struggling today, reach out, talk to somebody, go get help, just go spend some time with people. I know that you can feel alone even in a crowded room, but that's okay. It's okay. It will get better. All right. Happy 4th of July, you guys. Be safe, and make sure you have all 10 digits by the end of the day.